Welcome to the Badass Direct Sales Mastery Podcast with your direct sales dom, Jennie Bellinger. Badass Direct Sales Mastery is a podcast for rock star direct sales moms who are determined to make their business kick ass. Jennie will share her knowledge of effective sales and recruiting techniques, tips to get what you want from your business, and will interview direct sales professionals and leaders from various companies. The interviews will give insight to how these rock stars got to where they are and where they plan to grow in the future. And now, the direct sales dom, Jennie Bellinger.
Welcome back to another episode of Badass Direct Sales Mastery. I am your host, Jennie Bellinger, your direct sales dom, helping you whip your business into shape. And today I have with me Rhonda Travers. Now, let me tell you a little bit about Rhonda before I bring her on so that you guys know, why it is you should be listening to Rhonda today. Because as you guys know, I don't bring on people if they're not worth listening to and they don't have something to share. And when Rhonda and I met, I was like, oh, I've got to get you on the podcast. I've got to get you on the show and share what your experience is with my audience. So Rhonda Travers is a business-oriented leader recognized for making a positive impact and empowering others. She is dedicated to helping busy households find easy, healthy, and delicious meal solutions and gain confidence in the kitchen through her Tastefully Simple business. She also fulfills her passion for coaching and training by empowering other team members to build their own Tastefully Simple business and reach their potential. Welcome to the show, Rhonda.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
I am glad to have you here. Now, you and I were introduced through a mutual friend of ours. I believe it was Dallas Amsden who brought us together because he heard that you were rocking and rolling in the world of Tastefully Simple and said, oh, you've got to meet Jennie. We had a conversation and he was absolutely right. And I loved hearing your story. So let's get started with sharing with everybody. How did you get into Tastefully Simple?
Well, funny thing, I started with Tastefully Simple back in 2007. I went to a home tasting party, had no clue what I was getting into. And you started, sampling some of the foods. And I was, talking to the person that was talking about the food. I'm like, what is this all about? And what sold me was the pound cake. So the funny thing is, I joined Tastefully Simple because I wanted to get that discount on food myself or to stock my personal pantry. And it was because of the pound cake. However, I also made a big decision that I wanted to lose over 50 pounds. And my husband was a little confused. It's like, okay, you're just going to sign up for Tastefully Simple, which is food and desserts, but yet you're going to want to try and lose 50 pounds. How does that equate? So that's the start of my journey. Is I actually, just started for fun. I loved meeting new people. I loved having, these tasting parties. I loved our team and being able to have our team meetings and having a lot of fun with that. And then I also enjoyed the food. I enjoyed, eating the food and learning more about how to prepare food. But a lot has happened since 2007.
Yeah, you think? Because we're recording this for the listener, just so you guys know, we're recording this in early November of 2021. So yes, a lot has happened since 2007. So share some of your journey during that time.
So, as you know, with direct sales, the why behind you join whoever you're representing in direct sales changes. And so my why back then, to kind of go with Simon Sinek a little bit, knowing your why is, the food and the fun. But over time, and I was doing this at the same time as a corporate job. And so, over time with my corporate job, it got a little involved. And I also got involved with training and coaching others. And I really, really enjoyed that. So my why behind Tastefully Simple changed. I took a little break for a while, and then I rejoined just a few years ago and was rejuvenated with a new why. And my new why was not just for the food and the fun personally, but to build a team where I can help others and I can help others build their own businesses and work and train with team members there, but also to train and educate others on how to eat healthy. These past 19 months have been just unprecedented, what we've all experienced, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you don't realize in your normal everyday life how much you might go out, how much you might be eating empty calories. And what was the biggest thing is after everything shut down last March, I lost 10 pounds without even trying. And it's because we didn't even go out anymore. We ate in. So, naturally, up until this point, I, used Tastefully Simple products in our meal planning, but really there was a focused effort after all the restaurants shut down of exploring different ways to make meals that aren't boring all the time now. And so with that, I was able to really get my husband involved, who hated cooking, and really learn more about how to eat healthy all the time. And I had such rejuvenation behind that I'm like, I want to help others with that even more. So we've been able to do workshops and help other busy households really learn more how to incorporate healthy eating into their kitchen, even when you feel like you don't have time. And now that things are reopening and we're kind of getting back to that normal busy schedule of running around and eating in the car and things like that, that's where I'm excited and to empower others to gain that confidence in the kitchen of you can do this. And even when we get back to our normal habits that we didn't have a year ago, you still can do that. But my why now has really, really changed. I'm still having fun. I'm enjoying the food, but it's more about helping others and then building my team, which then in turn, is helping with the funds and helping with the money. So that's just one thing to think about with what everyone represents in direct sales.
Yeah. And I think it's really important for the listener to hone in on what you said right there, which was your why changes. And I can't tell you the number of times I've had that conversation just with my own clients, because they all hit a point. Every single one of them at some point in their journey with me has hit a point where they go, I'm feeling really unfocused, unmotivated, and I don't understand it. And what it came down to in almost every single case was their why had changed, but they didn't recognize it. And they were still shooting for the first why instead of going for the new why. Because in having those conversations in coaching with me, there had been a mindset shift that they were not yet consciously aware of, that had moved their focus off of the old why, which might have been fun, like in your case, having fun, having healthy foods to help you lose 50 pounds. But you recognized, because of your experience in the corporate world and training and coaching and all of that, you recognize your why shift, right? So I want the listener to pay very close attention to that, such that when you have that moment where you're feeling unfocused, unmotivated, take a look at your why, right? And if you don't know how to do that, if you don't know how to, really observe that, reach out to me, because you guys, that's what I do. That's my complimentary coaching session, right? So Rhonda, in knowing this new why and shifting forward into the new why in these past few years, what are some of the advantages, or not advantages, accomplishments that you have achieved in your business because of this new shift of helping others achieve building their own business through a Tastefully Simple business with you? What are some accomplishments that you and your team have received?
Well, first is just being able to build a team and focusing on the why, because, when you focus on your why, the passion comes through with how you speak with others. Mm-hmm. And how you speak with others if you're trying to maybe educate them on the products that you're selling and, to have a client base, or you might be talking about joining your team, or hosting a party. So if you're connected with that why, and that's what happened with me, it shows through where you're not trying to be somebody you're not. And so with that, I've been able to really have a lot of different workshops and helping others, even in a virtual environment when our environment was different over a year ago, being able to still get on Zoom and do a soup workshop with others, to talk about food, even though we can't be physically together. And having that energy behind it has really been able to help me build the clients and the people that I've gotten to know as friends through being clients, but also build my team to the point where, we're a certain team level right now, which is copper. I'm a copper leader. And that is through not only my own personal business growth, but my team's business growth. And as a result of that and the involvement that I've had with my team and training with my team lead and her overall team, I actually had the opportunity this summer to get on stage and speak at our national conference for Tastefully Simple and do a 10-minute training segment with my team lead, Adrian. And that was a dream of mine. I knew when I first started and went to my very first conference back in 2009 with Tastefully Simple, I said, someday I want to be on that stage. And I love getting in front of and training and educating others. And I was in my zone. And that's, once again, when you're authentic and you're true to yourself and you know your why, it's just going to transform into all aspects of your business, your clients, your team, and really help you with the goals that you're trying to set with your business. And that truly has been, to me, the biggest achievement is being able to get on stage, be with our founder, Jill Blazik-Strahan, and shake her hand and give her a hug and be able to train others both live and virtually at that conference.
Oh my gosh, that is so exciting. Because let me tell you, one of the things I want to let you guys know, fewer than 1% of all direct salespeople end up on stage as a trainer at their own company conferences. Fewer than 1%. So that puts you in the 1% club, Rhonda. That is huge. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. I didn't know that about you. How cool is that? That's a big deal. I really want to point out. Yeah, no, that's awesome. Because the number of years that I was with the company that I was with before, I ended up on stage, but not as a trainer. I walked the stage for promotions and recognition and things like that, but did not end up as a trainer for my own company yet, but that's okay.
That's a result of two. That's a result of two things. And it goes with the culture of Tastefully Simple. And that's another why as to why I've been a consultant over the past 14 years is the culture. The CEO and the founder just exudes tone at the top. And the type of environment, she is genuinely wants to empower every single consultant that's part of Tastefully Simple. And that's what keeps me going. But then also the law of abundance with my own team leader, Adrian. She actually, because of her leadership level, she's at the gold level. I'm at the copper, but I'm going to get there. But she's at the gold. She had the opportunity to deliver this training in front of everybody for 10 minutes. But because she knows the passion and because of our partnership of what we're able to do with our local team here, she asked me to join. And so that is just, that really reiterates the culture and just the environment that's just so exciting to work for and work with Tastefully Simple.
That's amazing. I love that. And it really does speak to the leadership when they would say, you know what, it's not just me. Like, I've got an amazing trainer on my team who really should be up here with me. Right. That's huge. And that's amazing. And people who are on your team, I hope they're listening to this episode right now, recognizing how lucky they are to have you as their leader, because you're someone who the company and your own team lead said, she's worth having up here to train others. So that's a big deal. I want your own team to listen to this and go, ooh, that's that's a good thing. That's a really good thing. So congratulations, Rhonda.
Thank you.
Awesome. So tell me now, we all know this business is a roller coaster. There are ups, like times when you get to go train for your company. There are ups when you have, amazing award-winning months, but there are also months when we maybe have some struggles, some issues. During your 14 years, you've probably had some down months. What would you say was probably one of the hardest things that you worked through with your business, so that we can maybe share what got you through a tough time in your business to bring you out on the other side and still be here 14 years later?
I think the hardest part was when you have a particular goal that you're trying to reach, financially, and you're not achieving it. And you feel like, gosh, I'm never going to get there. How am I going to reach out to others to share about what Tastefully Simple has to offer in their kitchen? And, I'm not getting any bookings. I'm not getting any clients, or I'm not getting any reorders. And gosh, why am I doing this? That type of thing. And it just goes back to the why. And it's like, okay, well, why am I not doing this? Why am I not reaching out and connecting with others? So it goes back to what helped me is, great people on my team, such as my team lead, to give me that word of encouragement and give me some pointers and really say, okay, there's different ways to do this. And, it's all about, what are you trying to achieve from the business? Because as you know, with direct sales, some are in it, for some extra side income. Some are in it because this is what they're doing full time, and they're trying to reach certain financial goals with bills. So, that's the joy of direct sales is, you're in it for a particular reason. And so what does that look like? And keep reminding yourself of that, and visualizing what you're trying to do with that. And so that really helped me get through those months where personally, I just didn't feel like I was going anywhere and growing. And so really trying to remind yourself of your why.
I love that, because that's really what helps you keep your eye on your prize and keep you going in that direction. So that is awesome, Rhonda. And, so one of the questions that I generally ask people who are in direct sales, who are still active in their business, if you had to share one secret to your success in direct sales, and you're sharing it with either somebody who's new or somebody who's been doing this for a while, what would you say your secret to success is?
I think it's being authentic and listening not only to yourself of why you're doing this, because if you're not sold on why you're doing this, it's going to come through in the tone of voice. It's going to come through in how you talk about your business and yourself. One thing I learned and I love is it's not a side gig. That was from one of your trainings. Yes. And so, you don't want to call it a side gig, even though you might not be doing this full time. That's okay. It's still your business. You are running your business. But in addition to that, if you're speaking from the heart and you're being authentic, you're also listening to the other person. Because it's easy, on those months where you're like going back to, it was hard for me. The hardest part is where you just don't feel like you're getting any bookings or new clients or reorders. But going back to, well, do I even understand who I'm talking to? And am I taking a no and then turning around and walking away and giving up? Or am I interpreting that no is that could be no, not now, not no, not ever. So if someone doesn't want to order from you right now, or if they don't want to join your team, or if they don't want to book a party and they say no, don't give up. Because asking additional questions and listening and being authentic with the conversation that you're trying to learn from them, what they need, and it's not about you, it's about them, then it might just be, no, I'm really busy right now. And you could follow up with, how about next month? Or, hey, can I reach out to you next quarter? Their no could just mean not now. And so if you give up too easy, then, then it would be easy to walk away and then kind of close down business, say, I'm done with this and move on to something different versus really being authentic and listening and having that conversation that really could open up. Oh, okay. Well, this week's really bad. That's why they said no versus next month.
Right. Exactly. It could just be that it's the middle of the freaking holidays and they feel overwhelmed already. And what you've just asked them mentally makes them think, oh, that's one more thing on my plate. I don't have time for one more thing on my plate. I don't have room for one more thing. I'm already spinning 12 plates and juggling 13 balls. So absolutely. And I want to point out if the listener is new to direct sales and when Rhonda or you hear any of us talking about listening to what the people say and they mean no, not now, it doesn't mean be persistent to the point of being relentless with somebody. What it means is maintain the relationship, maintain that connection with them because you never know when their life is going to change. You never know who's watching you through social media. I can't tell you the number of times I had people who reached out to me and said, okay, I'm ready to be on your team. And I'm like, I wasn't even like, you weren't even on my radar. What are you like? Okay, let's get you started. But what happened is they were people who were paying attention to what was going on in what I was posting. I was sharing my whole life, the good, the bad, and the ugly with people and not just sharing, all the great stuff, but saying, hey, had a rough week this week, or, just being authentic with people, being just like you were saying, being authentic. But maintaining connections with people who then decided, you know what, I think I'm ready for this because something changed in their life. Hey, how many people at the beginning of 2020 thought they were going to be staying home for 6 months straight? Anybody? Did anybody think that was going to happen to them in 2020? No, we had all decided 2020, this was like a new decade, not just a new year, a new decade. And this was our year. And then the world shut down and that changed everything for almost everybody, good and bad. So just be aware when someone tells you no, not to completely discard them, because that's what gives people in direct sales. That's what gives people in direct sales that bad taste, right? Is because they feel like not only do we feel bad because we've let someone go because they told us no, but other people feel used and useless because if they didn't buy from us, if they didn't join our team, we suddenly don't talk to them anymore. No wonder.
Yes, that is so. Yeah. I mean, it's like, well, I'm a people person if you haven't figured that out by now.
Yeah.
And I love to have fun and I love people. And so, and it goes back to that authentic piece is you're having a conversation. So you don't want someone to think that, well, she's only talking to me because she sees me as a cha-ching, versus a person. And it goes back to listening and really understanding and being with that other person because, no one ever wants to feel like I'm just a statistic for that person. I'm just a sale for that person. It's all about relationships and helping. Like my why is helping people. So if I feel like I can help even by sharing a recipe, I don't care if you buy it from me, but if you've got a great recipe for me that you can use in the kitchen when you thought you're going to be too busy, great, learn from that and just being authentic and because people are going to really see through if you have an ulterior motive like that, it's going to, like you said, they're going to walk away going, ooh, salespeople, and who wants that? That doesn't help our industry.
Not at all. Not at all. Well, Rhonda, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and your secret sauce to being successful in direct sales. And I know that you also have been kind enough to offer a nice little sample for people. So if the listener maybe hasn't heard of Tastefully Simple, or maybe it's just not a company that is widely available in their area and they've never heard of it, and they would like to have an idea of what it is that you offer. You said that you've got a couple of different samples that you would be willing to send out to a listener who reaches out to you. Tell us a little bit about your samples.
Sure. If you reach out to me, I would love to give you your choice of 3 different of our seasonings: onion, garlic, or spinach herb. All of them are part of our clean label, eat well products where it's no artificial fats, MSG, sweeteners, and colors that are added to it. And you can add any of these 3 seasonings to any of your meals that you're making at home to add a lot of great flavor to it. So love to be able to introduce you to the world of Tastefully Simple and helping your meals be healthy.
Oh, that's very sweet of you. So, badass crew, as I'm sure you've heard me say before, make sure you click on today's episode, grab your phone as long as you're not driving, click on today's episode, scroll up just a little bit, and you'll see right below the podcast image Rhonda's contact information. So grab her email, click on that, send her an email and say, hey, I heard you on the Badass Direct Sales Mastery podcast. I would like to try. And then just let her know if you want the garlic, the onion, or the spinach herb sample, and send her your address and she will get that sample out to you very quickly. So you can give it a try and see if that's something that you would like a little more of in your life. If you'd like to add just a little more flavor to your delicious meals with your family at home, because we're all working towards building our businesses so that we can be home with our families. Now, what are we going to do at home with our families? We're going to eat. We're going to have dinner. We're going to have dinners together. This is it's a no-brainer, right? So Rhonda, thank you so much for your time and your expertise here. I so appreciate you being on the show.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate the opportunity and thanks for having me.
Absolutely, Rhonda. All right, Badass crew, you know how this goes. Stay tuned because there is another badass episode on its way.
Thanks for listening to the Badass Direct Sales Mastery Podcast with your direct sales dom, Jennie Bellinger. Why are you waiting to go to badassdirectsalesmastery.com? Don't make the dom get her whip. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to share it with another rock star that you know in direct sales after you subscribe to the podcast so you won't miss any future episodes. You can also check out the show notes for links and any contact information mentioned in today's episode. We'll see you next time.